Well, and I should have, before I started the video, I probably should have wrote some notes so I cover everything. But it's just going to be two things, basically. Sun gazing. Okay, and first off, this is not financial advice, technically. It's what I have discovered. It's what I have done with my sons. It's what we, okay. Bottom line, silver. This couldn't wait, so do your research and figure out what this means for next week and the weeks to come. SLV is the primary, and if you don't understand the terms and so forth, you should get comfortable with the terms and understand what I'm talking about, because your grandchildren are going to ask you, especially if you knew about Crouton Ramon, they're going to ask you why you didn't do anything. Okay, SLV is the primary vehicle for the big boys to short into the market, fake silver into the market to drive the price down. It comes to light that there are no more short shares available at SLV. In other words, you cannot borrow any SLV shares to go short into the market. This is, this time it's different, because this is, in my lifetime, has never happened. Another thing that has never happened in my lifetime. And oh, and I'm going to post some charts because somebody was laughing at me. Well, she wasn't laughing. She just, and see, she's correct. Because if you're taking financial advice from a guy that looks like me, and then you lose money, and then you try to take me to court, the judge will look at this video right here, and my motion to dismiss will be granted. So you were taking advice from a guy that looked like that. Maybe one shirt on, and doesn't always speak proper English. So anyway, I'm just saying, look into silver, because they're having a hell of a time playing the game that they always play, which is, as the price goes up, and it went up $1.25 on Friday. Just on Friday, it went up $1.25. Okay, it's done that before, but this time it went up, now we're into the 43 range. We are in no man's land. We have nothing hard time to predict what comes next, because we've only been here before for a few days, and it was false and the whole, anyway, hard to know what comes next. However, the game that they play always is they short into the rise with phantom shares, drive the price down, and then cover their shorts and pocket the difference. They did it from 5 to 15. They did it from 15 to 25. They did it from 25 to 35. But they can't do it from 35 to 45 because they don't have any more shares to short. This is important information. Or is it? Perhaps they have another source. Okay, also, some people are predicting, and these are not schmoes that don't wear shirts to make videos. These are guys that like own mining companies and have been looking into the metals market for many, many, many moons. There's a good chance that what they're going to do is, if you're an actual manufacturer, you will get physical silver. If you are just a bank or a financial institution or a speculator or a private investor or whatever, you will settle up in Federal Reserve notes. When that happens, we do not know what will happen to the price of silver. Currently, you can buy a silver dime for around $3. Do the melt weight. In fact, see, I should have wrote it down before I came on. Okay, so I'm going to check right now. Bear with me. I hope you watch these on 2 times speed. Let's see here. Melt weight silver dime. I don't believe anything the AI overview says. I'm going to coin melt values on this website that I trust. Okay. Currently, a Mercury or Roosevelt silver dime is about $3.12. In other words, you need $3.12 of FRN, Federal Reserve note, to buy one dime. Think about that. That means that here in Arizona, one dime buys a gallon of gas, because a gallon of gas is right around $3. So actually, in 64 money, I was born in 64, gas has actually gone down, and because in my whole life, I don't ever remember paying a dime for a gallon of gas. I remember 40 something cents. I remember having a go-kart and scraping up change, literally change from his parents' sofa. And then we had just enough gas to get to the gas station. And here's these two little boys on this go-kart. We paid a guy the money, and he filled our tank, which was like about a gallon and a half for the change that we had. And then we had a full gallon of gas, and we was riding around in a go-kart and getting in all kind of trouble because you're not supposed to be riding on a go-kart on the roads. And so what? Anyway, the idea being is that, before I get too far off track, one dime is, buy a couple of dimes. Just buy a couple of dimes. Get yourself like some dimes. And do it this weekend. But do your research first. And use your discernment and decide, is this a good idea? To take some of my hard-earned FRNs, which are devaluing as we speak, and convert them into dimes at this price? If you can do some math. Because it wasn't too long ago that those dimes was $1.50 for one. Not like, small kid on about a days. I'm talking about a couple of years, not even a couple of years ago. Those dimes were $1.50. Okay, if you can do the math. But the important part is that they've run out of shares to short. This is big news. All right, I'm going to do the same thing because I'm going to save this video. And I'm going to do the same thing another guy did a long time ago. But he was talking about Bitcoin. This time I'm talking about XRP. I did not get the XRP story when it was screwing around at 5 cents. And I bought lots of bullshit about XRP. Because it's true, and this is a if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. It's true that this is going to be part of the new financial system, and that financial system, they're going to use the new financial system to the best of their ability to enslave us. And XRP is going to be a big part of that. Now, it can be used many ways beneficially. But the bottom line is the change is coming. It's going to come whether or not you do anything, whether you follow Catherine Austin Fitts and try to use cash as much as possible. They are still going to change the financial system from what it is now into a new system that involves the blockchain. Period. That's going to happen. And all of my nerd friends who helped to facilitate this, we still have a chance. But overall, they're using that blockchain to make it so that they can program your money. So yes, I am in agreement that you want to use, and see, right now, if I have a silver dime, I cannot do anything with that silver dime. I can not spend it anywhere. I have to take that silver dime someplace, convert it into pieces of paper, and then I can take those pieces of paper, and then I can transact in clown world commerce. Okay, but they won't take real money. They'll only take currency because we have a currency-based system. Okay, there are some people that will in fact take uh, currency, or excuse me, money instead of currency. I'm one of them, actually. You can pay me in currency and it's much less. Okay, but I'm going to reenact this. Just buy one XRP. Right now it's like $3. Just buy one. Just figure out how to buy one XRP. Just for giggles in your homeschool. Figure out how to go have your child, son or daughter, go do some chores, go mow a lawn. I know that's crazy talk. Go whack with a weed eater, go carry some groceries, go do something of use wherein they'll get 3 FRNs. Take those 3 FRNs and buy an XRP. It may go down from here. It may go back down to like $2. It won't matter because just like when back in the day, I bought some silver. And here's the thing. At my age, I'm not doing this for me. I got grandbabies on the way. They're not even here yet. Okay, it all works out the way it's supposed to work out because I was fully aware of Bitcoin. I had friends mining Bitcoin. I went to parties where they celebrated their first Bitcoin when it popped from their mining because they were using super slow computers. I've been at parties where they were celebrating their 100th Bitcoin. And this is like 14 years ago, 15 years ago. And now I know for a fact that some of those guys are having a good time. Because if they post, and they almost never post on social media, but when they do post, they're always someplace else. They're not in the same place they were before. They're in Greece. They're in Mexico. They're in someplace. They're in Mongolia. They're in. they're, they're in places you haven't heard of and I can't pronounce. Anyway, and they're posting pictures. Hey, look. Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you to take your life saving. I'm not going to tell you to take sell your car. I'm not going to tell you to take your cat and sell them to the gypsies and buy an XRP instead. You think we can get $3 for Ziggy? I don't think we can get $3 for Ziggy. I don't think anybody will give us $3 for that cat. But if I could get $3 for that cat, I would turn it into XRP. Just buy one XRP. Just get one. Just one XRP. Do your research. Figure out that there are going to be. I should draw pictures. But Jim Woodley explained it to me in a way that finally got through my fat head. See, because sometimes you got to have pictures to make it understand what's going to happen. And what's going to happen, lo que paso es, and see, do your own research, because this could be wrong. His analysis could be incorrect. So could mine. But he was doing mathematics. And what he sees, and what I understand also, is that trillions, and it's not going to happen immediately because these unwinds take a little while, but they happen faster than you think. Just a very quick story. In the dot-com boom, I lost $800,000 in a blink. I went from an account that had $800,000 in it to $30,000 in it before I could barely hit the sell buttons. And thinking that, oh, it's going to come back, it's going to come back, oh, I'll catch it, right, and I'll catch it, and I'll try to trade it. And nope. And it wasn't even 2 weeks. Okay, these things can happen rapidly. They can go the other way, too. Go look at some of the crazy things that have happened with cryptocurrencies, where they just literally go to the moon. Stuff that when I was back in the day when I used to trade, and back in the day when I couldn't really trade on my own account because I had all these different licenses, and that allowed me to do what was otherwise illegal, which is sell stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance, and so forth to my fellow man. And I was responsible for other brokers and traders. If you got 30% in a year, holy cow. Okay, there are stocks when it was dot com boom days where they're doing 30% in a day. Okay, we have crypto that are doing 30% in an hour. They've compressed the time frames. You've seen cryptos run where they've gone from nothing to everything in moments. Okay, XRP has trillions of dollars that's going to try and get into XRP because it has utility. And it makes me sad because it not only has utility, it has the liquidity. Even though the mathematics is inferior to H bar. I love H bar because H bar's mathematics is freaking awesome. It's geometry and anyway, but it doesn't matter because they don't have the liquidity that XRP is going to have. So when it's being used for transactions, you're going to find that XRP is going to be the superior technology. Okay, so right now you can get one for $3. And it's air, it's vapor, it's imagination. It's zeros and ones on a computer, but we're moving that way and there's no stopping it. Just get one. There's not enough to go around. You could buy 10, but just get one. Just get one. Had you taken that other guy's advice back in the day when he said just get one, and back then it wasn't even $1, you could take that one Bitcoin, buy lots of stuff, a lot of M&Ms and beer. Even though the currency has devalued to the point where I'm about to go to Costco and the money that I'm going to spend, if I had the same numbers on that currency when my boys were little, I would fill the house with food. Okay, now my boys are not little, they're 18 and 20. And that same $300 will buy enough food for two, and she eats like a bird, and it will last quite a while. But it's not as much at all as it was when my boys were little. Why is because the currency is losing its purchasing power. Meantime, if you had taken that same currency 20 years ago, well, you couldn't have, but yeah, I guess you could have, and put it into silver. Would it have gained purchasing power or lost purchasing power? If you had put it into Bitcoin, would it have gained purchasing power or lost purchasing power? And of the two, the silver was, okay, so early, you're wrong. So we were wrong about silver because I've been hearing about silver going to the moon forever, for 20 years, more than that. Okay, could have taken that silver and bought Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin really did go to the moon. Because had I put even half the money in silver back in the day into Bitcoin, we wouldn't be having this conversation because you wouldn't. Everybody I know that did ridiculously well in crypto, they're not talking to nobody on social media. You either know their numbers or you don't. You were either friends with them or you weren't. And some of them social media accounts, I love it because they just stop posting. Yeah. Anyway, they didn't delete the accounts; they just stopped posting. Some of them did delete the accounts. They're the gray. It turns gray. Anyhow, do your research. I didn't wait for 7 Session Sunday. I should have made this earlier in the day, but I was doing other stuff. But XRP silver. Spend some time doing your own research so you can use your own discernment and decide what would be the best thing for you to do. But here's the thing in mathematics, I'll give you a little more mathematics. There's this thing about 2080. 80% of the move is going to come in 20% of the time when it comes to gold and silver. Did you notice that gold made a new high? $3,700 has now been breached? Again, the stock market is at all-time highs. All-time highs. Higher than it was, depending on how you count and who you're counting, who's doing the counting, but higher than it was in 29, higher than it was during the dot-com boom, higher than it was in 87. It's never been this high. We have data to, we've never been this overvalued. We've never had indexes. Okay, we're in for a crash. However, I've been told, and we'll see if it's correct. Don't take this as financial advice by any means, because I'm expecting a crash. I am playing scared, and my boys are pissed at me because I've told them to sell a couple of times when they probably should have stayed and they would have made money. But I am concerned about a crash. And this crash is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. You've never seen a crash like this. But I've been told that they're going to take it higher. I mean, you're expecting it, and they're going to take it higher still before they finally crash it. I don't know. But I can look at charts, and I see what it does every time before. And this time is not going to be different. It may go higher, but it's going to crash. Now, here's the thing. The greedy will try and make the money. Oops, let's go on the thing, right? In that space before it crashes. They're going to try and get in and get out and make money in that last little, right? That, okay. Because it's true. 80% of the move comes in 20% of the time. The same thing with gold and silver. In the past, 80% of the bull run comes in the last 20% of the time when you're looking at the chart. And that's when it hits that exponential curve. That's just mathematics. Okay. We're just about to hit that exponential curve with metals. You should have been in by now, but just buy one silver dime. What's your downside risk? $3. That somehow that silver dime becomes valueless. Well, if you lose it, just buy one XRP. What's your downside risk? $3. Back in the day, your downside risk on Bitcoin was $1. And everybody made fun and laughed, including me, by the way, because I had a friend. Last I heard, they were in Idaho. And I'm pretty sure he's got an interesting compound because that was an interesting cat for sure. But the idea is that he was saying crazy things like one day these bitcoins are going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know when, but this is the future. This is the way it's going to go. And they're only making so many of them. And if you do the math and 8 billion people and all the money and so on, he was predicting, yeah, it's going to be thousands and then tens of thousands and then hundreds of thousands. And he said it's not going to be, I think he was thinking it would happen faster. So he might have been wrong on the time frame, but he called it. And at the time, and I mean everybody, was saying that he was out of his mind. That's crazy talk. You're being ridiculous. That's wishful thinking. You're wasting your time. One XRP. Buy one. Just go buy one XRP. Figure it out. You're going to have to figure out how to get a wallet. You're going to have to figure out cold storage because you want to take it offline. You don't want to store it with somebody else. Figure out one XRP. Get one of them in your possession. Not online, not stored on Coinbase, not any. Just get one of them in your possession. If you have children's, buy one for each of them. I don't know, as a stocking stuffer, as a Christmas gift, as a, oh, the vernal equinox is coming up. Whatever, make an excuse. Buy one XRP for all your grandbabies. Buy one XRP. Just one. Just get one. Remember this day. Okay. GridOnRoadsHouseOfMath.com for more. Do your research. No, I don't have links. Well, okay. I'll tell you what. I'll put a couple of links. But for the most part, I'm only going to put a couple of links. That should be where you start, not where you finish. And certainly not where you start and finish. One. Just get one. And maybe one dime. Maybe a couple of dimes. Maybe a roll. GridOnRoadsHouseOfMath.com for more.